Hello. Aka. All right, welcome guys here. Welcome to the next week of live session. So in today's video, I'll be teaching you guys on how to factorize algebraic expressions. We'll be talking about loss of exponents, right? So we'll be talking about the loss of indices. We could also call it the loss of indices. And we'll be also talking about equations, how to solve linear equations in one variable. All right, guys. So first of all, very nice to have you guys here. I see that today we have a good amount of people right here. So first of all, very nice to see you guys here again. So first, let me know if my audio and video is clear. Okay, let me know if the audio is clear, if the video is clear, if you can hear me loud and clear. Okay, so if it's not working properly, I can change it before I start today's lesson. So I see here we got Anjana, we got Fiat, we got Cow 9 grade 5 and Hamilton grade 5 from Kenya. Nice to see you guys here. All right, guys, if you can let me know if my voice is clear, maybe type it down. That will be highly helpful for me. That'd be actually really helpful for me. All right, so I hope you've come ready with a pen and a piece of paper or a pencil so we can solve it together, okay? So in today's lesson, guys, the first one, what we'll be looking at factorizing, okay? So we will be looking at factorizing. So what we mean by factorizing it, so we will be taking the greatest common factor of each term. Thank you, Hamilton. So we'll be taking the greatest common factor of each term and putting it in front of the bracket. Okay, so let's start with some examples. So let's go to question A, right? So for 1A, what we have here, so we got 4x minus 6. All right, guys, so in this case, when we have to factorize it, so we'll be taking the greatest common factor of the variables and the constants. Okay, so if you don't know what we mean by variables, variables are these alphabets that you see, okay? So A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z, all of them, we call them variables. So if you take a look at this guy, so there's only one variable in the first term. Hello, Mora from Kenya. Very nice to have you here. So again, so we are going to take the greatest common factor of each term, right? So in this case, what we can do is we are going to take 2 and keep it in front of the bracket. All right, guys. Now, once we take the greatest common factor and keep it in front of the bracket, what we are going to do is we are going to divide all of the term inside the bracket with that number. Okay, so what we have here, we will have 4x over 2 and minus with 6 over 2. All right, guys. And then the final answer, what we will have is we have 2 in front of the bracket. Now, inside the bracket, 4x over 2 is going to give us 2x minus with 6 over 2 is going to give us 3. All right, guys. So that would be our final answer. Guys, if it's a bit confusing, don't worry about it. Okay, we'll do it step by step. Now let's go to question B, guys. All right, let's go to question B. So what we're going to do here is, again, let's start off by writing the question down. So 18 minus 12p, right, guys? 18 minus 12p. So what we have here is we are going to again bring the greatest common factor and keep it in front of the bracket. Okay, so the greatest common factor of 18 and 12 will be 6, right? So we'll put 6 in front of the bracket. And now in the first term, there are no variables. So that means that there'll be no greatest common factor that has variables involved. And then we go ahead and open the bracket, okay? Now, second step, what we do is we are going to divide everything inside the bracket with the greatest common factor that we just put in front of the bracket. So we have 18 divided by 6 minus 12p divided by 6. All right, guys. Therefore, our final answer will be 6 in front of the bracket. 18 divided by 6 is going to give us 3 minus 12p divided by 6 is going to give us 2p. All right, guys. So that would be our final answer. Now let us go to question. Let's go to question E maybe. Okay, let's go to question E. Let us go ahead to question E, guys. So we got 3p minus 3q. All right, guys. In this case, what we have here is we are going to again put the greatest common factor in front of the bracket. So the GCF of 3 is going to give us 3, right, guys? And for the variables, we cannot find any greatest common factor, so we open the bracket. And now we're going to divide 3p with 3 minus 3q with 3, right, guys? Now, if you take a look at it, guys, these 3 can simplify itself, right? So 3 and 3 will simplify. This 3 and 3 will simplify. Therefore, our final answer, what we would have is 3, open bracket, p minus q. All right, guys, p minus q. Now, what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to solve question F by yourself. Okay, guys. So today will be quite a long session. I have many questions ready for you guys, and also I'll be solving few questions, and then I'll give you some time to try and solve it by yourself. Okay, guys. So for question F, let's see if anyone has got the answer. So we have 8m plus 12n plus 16r. Okay, guys, I'll give you some hints. So first, what you're going to do is you are going to find the greatest common factor of 8, 12 and 16. Okay, guys, you guys will go ahead and find the greatest common factor of 8, 12 and 16. I'll give you guys maybe a couple of minutes. And let's see if you are doing it correctly. All right, if you did get the answer, guys, please type it down. And for all of you guys who are just joining the live, let me know your name and what grade are you in right now. Okay, so type down your name followed with your grade level. I'll give you guys maybe 2 minutes to solve it. Once you've got the answer, please type it down. Fiat, is that right, Fiat? Okay, can you type, that is the GCF, right? So now factorize it fully. So what will be our final answer? So we'll put 4 in front of the bracket, that's right. And then we divide everything with 4. So we have 8m over 4 plus 12n over 4 plus 16r over 4, right? And the final answer would be 4 with 2m plus 3n plus 4r. That is correct, Fiat. Good job. That is correct. Very, very good. All right, guys. Now let us go to the next one. All right, let's go to the next one. Hello there, Cow9, grade 6. Am I pronouncing your name properly? Cow9. All right, guys. Now let's go to the next one. Okay, so the next one is going to get a bit more harder from the previous one. Okay, so what we are going to do here is we are going to follow the exact same steps. Okay, the steps are going to be the same, but in these questions what we have is we have the variables that are raised to the power of 2, 3 and 4 or whatnot. Okay, so the first question, let's start by writing it down. I'm going to write the question down first. Minus m square n plus mn square. All right, guys, so what we're going to do now is we are going to bring the greatest common factor out. Okay, so in the first term we have m raised to the power of 3. All right, good job, Cow9. In the second term we have m raised to the power of 2, and in the third term we have m raised to the power of 1, right? If we write it as m, that means it is m just to the power of 1. So what we are going to do, guys, we are going to bring the m that is raised to the lowest power and bring it in front of the bracket. All right, guys. Now let's go and see for n. So in the first term, there is no n at all. So that means we cannot bring any n and keep it outside the bracket. All right. Now we are going to open the bracket. And now what we're going to do, we're going to take all the terms. So m cubed over m minus m square n over m plus mn square over m. So we have divided all of the terms inside the bracket with the greatest common factor, which is m. All right, guys. Now here's where many students make mistakes. So take a look at this, guys. So if we have m cubed, right? So m cubed is same like m multiplied by m multiplied by m. Right, guys? Therefore, m cubed over m is equal to m times m times m divided by m. Right, guys? Now, if we write it this way, we can simplify these two m's, right, guys? So what we will be having, we will have just two m's, or in other words, we can write it as m to the power of 2. Right, guys? M to the power of 2. Now, let's go to the second term. So we have a minus here, so we put that minus down. Now m square n divided by m is going to give us mn, right, guys? Is going to give us mn. And plus we got mn square over m, and of course here this m and m can easily simplify itself. So the answer we'll have is n to the power of 2, n square. And that would be our final answer, guys, right? So when we factorize this, that will be our final answer. This is question A. Now let us go to question B. So if you take a look at question B, we have 4r cubed minus 6r square plus 8r square s. All right. So here, if you take a look at it, guys, we have numbers, we have variables, right? But don't get panicked. We use the exact same step. So step number 1, what we are going to do is we are going to find the greatest common factor of 4, of 6 and 8. So the greatest common factor of 4, 6 and 8 will give us 2, right, guys? So we are going to put this 2 in front of the bracket. Now, if we take a look at r, guys, we have r cubed, r square and r square. So from the previous question, if you remember, we are going to take the r that is raised to the least power, right? So we are going to bring r square out, right? We're going to bring r square out. And we have a s here, but we don't have s in the first or the second term. So this would be our greatest common factor. Now, same step, we are going to divide everything inside the bracket with the greatest common factor that we just found. All right, guys, so everything will be the same. R squared S over 2R squared. Now, when we divide it, guys, we solve it exactly the same. All right, so 2R squared in front of the bracket. Now here, guys, 4 divided by 2 is going to give us 2, right? And R cubed divided by R squared will leave us with just a single R, right, guys? And minus with 6 divided by 2 is going to give us 3, and R squared will simplify itself. Now finally, we have a plus here, and then 8 divided by 2 is going to give us 4, and R squared will simplify itself, which would leave us with a single S. So this would be our final answer. All right, guys, this will be our final answer. Now what I want you guys to do is, I want you guys to try and solve question number D. Okay, I mean not number, question D. So let me write the question down. 72 m square n plus 36 mn square minus 18 m square n square. All right, guys, now what I want you guys to do is try and solve it by yourself. I'll give you maybe 2 minutes, and then we'll see if you guys got it correct. And if you guys finished it, guys, please type down your answer. All right, if you finished it, type down your answer. And if you don't understand in any question, guys, please comment it down so I'll know it. And of course, mainly if you're enjoying this video till now, do not forget to hit on that like button, okay? Now let's see if anyone has got the answer. All right, so let's start off with the first one, okay? Let's see who can give me the greatest common factor. So what is the greatest common factor of 72, 36, and 18? All right, so first let's start off with that. What is the greatest common factor of 72, 36, and 18? The greatest common factor of all of these three terms will be 18, right, guys? 18. Now let's go ahead to the variables. Let's go ahead to the variables. Oh, I see Fiat has answered it. Let's see. So for the variables, guys, we will have m and we will have n, right? Now we are going to divide everything with the greatest common factor. So 72 m square n over 18 mn plus 36 mn square over 18 mn minus 18 m square n square over 18 mn, right? And the final answer will be 18 mn. Inside the bracket we would have 4m, right? We'd have 4m plus 2n, we'd have plus 2n minus mn. So this would be our final answer, guys, right? When we factorize it, this will be our final answer. Good job, Fiat. You wrote it as minus 1 mn, which is the same. All right, usually in algebra, if it is 1, we usually don't write the constant 1, but if you write it, that is no problem. Now let us go to the next one. All right, guys, let's go to the next one. Now the questions are going to get a bit more harder and harder each time, okay? The questions will get harder and harder each time. All right, so question 1, let me start off by solving it for you. So I have question A. So we got 12 AC minus 8 AC square plus 4A square C, all right? Plus 4A square C. So again, guys, we are going to bring out the greatest common factor out in front of the bracket. So for the numbers, we would have 4, right? Because 4 is the greatest common factor of 12, 8, and 4. And for the variables, we would have AC, right? We would have AC. And then we got 12 AC over 4 AC minus 8ac square over 4ac plus 4a square c over 4ac, right guys? And that is what we'll have inside the bracket. And I'll give you guys a couple of minutes to do it by yourself, maybe 1 minute, just the final part. Let's see what you guys have for the final answer. Now, if you got the final answer, guys, feel free to type it down. Okay, if you got it, feel free to type it down. All right, so the final answer what we have here is, so 4ac in front of the brackets, right? And inside the bracket, this ac and ac will simplify itself, which would leave us with 3, right? Which will leave us with 3 minus with 2c, right? And plus we have 4 and 4 will simplify, which will leave us with just a, right guys? So this would be our final answer. Woohoo, True Faster is in the house. Look at him. Very good, Fiat. I think you did get the right answer. Very, very good. Now let's try and solve all of these. Okay, let's try and solve all of these. Now let us try and solve all of these. All right, guys. So let us solve question C and D. Okay, let's go to question C here. Question C. So we have 33 AC square plus 121 C cube minus 11 B square C square. All right, minus 11 B square C square. Now let's go ahead and solve it. I'll give you guys a couple of minutes and then we will do it together. Alright guys, so again, step number 1, what you'll be doing is you'll be bringing the greatest common factor out and keep it in front of the bracket, alright? Alright, so let's see. Let us see. So what we're going to have here is, we are going to keep 11 in front of the bracket, right? So we are going to have 11. And then we will have, what do you guys think we'll have in front of the bracket, guys? So we have A, and we have AC square, C cube, and C square, right? So the greatest common factor is going to give us C to the power of 2, right, guys? Is going to give us C to the power of 2. All right. Now let's go ahead and solve it. Now we open the bracket. So we have 33 AC square over 11C square plus 121C cube over 11C square minus 11B square C square over 11C square, right guys? Over 11C square. I think I was experiencing some technical difficulties there. Now, the final answer, guys, let me know what is the answer that you guys got, okay? Let me know what answer you guys got. Now, I'll give you maybe 1 minute and then we will take it from there. Okay, so of course in front of the bracket we will have 11c square, right? We are going to have 11c square, that's for sure. Now inside the bracket, guys, let's see what you guys have. All right, let's see what you guys have. All right, guys, so inside the bracket, what we are going to have is we'll have 3, right? 3a, because this c square and c square is going to simplify, right, guys? So we're going to have 3a plus 11c, right, minus b square, because the c square and c square will simplify itself. So this would be our final answer, guys. This would be our final answer. Now let's go ahead and solve question D. All right, so we have 38 c cube d square minus 57 c square d cube plus 95 c square d square. All right, so here's what we have here. Now let's see if you guys can do it properly. All right, let's see if you guys can do it properly. Step number 1, we follow the same steps, guys. Okay, find the greatest common factor and keep it in front of the bracket. All right, so that would be step number 1. And if you guys did get the answer, type it down. And if you're just joining now, guys, if you're just joining in, please type down your name and what grade you're in. Okay, please type down your name and your grade. If you're just coming in, guys, please type down your name and your grade, okay? And then we will take it from there. All right, so let's start off with the number. So 38, 57, and 95. The greatest common factor is going to be 19, right, guys? So we're going to bring 19 and keep it in front of the bracket, right? Now for c cube, so we got c cube here, we got c square, and we got c square, right? So what we're going to do is we are going to bring c square and keep it in front of the bracket. All right, guys? And for we also have d here, right? So we have d square, we got d cube, and then we got d square. That means we are going to bring d square and keep it out of the bracket. All right, now once we have found it, we are going to simplify it. So we have 38 c cube d square over 19 c square d square, right, guys? And then minus 57 c square d cube over the same greatest common factor, and then plus 95 c square d square over 19 c square d square. All right, guys? So now once we have come here, finding the final answer is going to be pretty easy, right? We're almost here. So finding the final answer, guys. So what would we have? We would have 19 c square d square, and the final answer inside the bracket, when we simplify it, d square and d square will simplify, right? So we'd have 2c, because c cube over c square is going to give us c, right, guys? Minus it, 57 over 19 is going to give us 3. Now this c square and c square is going to simplify itself, which is going to leave us with d, right, guys? Which is going to leave us with d. And finally, plus 95 over 19 is going to give us 5. C square will simplify, d square will simplify. So this will be our final answer. Let's see, Fiat, if you got it right. And yes, you did. Good job, Fiat. You did get it right. You did get it right. Good job. Now let's go to the next one. So now we are finished with our factorization. Okay, guys, we are going to go to algebraic indices now. So if you don't know what we mean by indices, indices means exponents. Okay, indices means exponent. It's the same word for exponent. So today, guys, we'll be looking into three different laws. Okay, so we'll be looking at three laws of exponents. Laws of exponents. Right, we're going to be looking at laws of exponent. The first law that we'll be looking at is a to the power of m multiplied with a to the power of n is equal to a to the power of m plus n. All right, guys, this is a law. So for example, if we have 7 to the power of 2 multiplied with 7 to the power of 3, this is same like 7 to the power of 2 plus 3. Therefore, it's 7 to the power of 5. All right, guys, this is law number 1. All right, this is law number 1. The second law is what we call the division law. All right, so if we have a to the power of m divided by a to the power of n, this is same like a to the power of m minus n. All right, it's same like a to the power of m minus n. Now let's take example. Let's say I have 9 to the power of 6 divided by 9 to the power of 4. This is same like 9 to the power of 6 minus 4, which is equal to 9 to the power of 2. All right, guys, it is equal to 9 to the power of 2. Now, the third law that we'll be looking at, the third law is what we call the power of power law. Okay, it's very powerful. So if I have 8 to the power of m multiplied with n like this, this is same like a to the power of m times n, which is equal to a to the power of mn, right, guys? Which is equal to a to the power of mn. Oops, mn. Okay, so if I have, or let me write it here, a to the power of mn. Right, now let's say we have 7 to the power of 2 to the power of 3, something like this. This is same like 7 to the power of 2 times 3. Therefore, will give us 7 to the power of 6. All right, guys, 7 to the power of 6. Now, please copy that down. And the next couple of questions, next many questions actually, we'll be using these three laws to solve it. Okay. Now, copy down, please, guys. Once you finish, maybe you can type it down so I know you're finished. And then we can go and start solving few questions. All right, now let's take this understanding and go solve few questions. Okay, so let's go ahead and solve these questions, guys. Okay, so there are totally 8 questions, but it's pretty easy. So question A, right? So we have c to the power of 5 multiplied with c to the power of 3. Now we are going to use law number 1 here, right? This is same like c to the power of 5 plus 3, which is equal to c to the power of 8. Right, guys, which is equal to c to the power of 8. Now let's go to question B. So what do we have for question B? M to the power of 4 divided by m squared is equal to m to the power of 4 minus 2, which is equal to m squared, right? This is law number 2, right, guys? Law number 2. Now let's go to question C now. So in question C, we'll be using law 3 and law 2, right? So we have b to the power of 3 raised to the power of 5 divided by b to the power of 6, right? So step number 1, what we'll be doing is we'll be breaking the brackets, right? So we would have b to the power of 3 multiplied by 5 divided by b to the power of 6, right, guys? Now what do we have here? We have b raised to the power of 3 times 5 is going to give us 15 divided by b to the power of 6, right, guys? Now once we are here, we can use law number 2, right? The bases are the same, so that means if the bases are the same and they're dividing each other, we will subtract the exponent. So we would have b to the power of 15 minus 6. Therefore the answer is b to the power of 9. All right, guys. Now for questions D, E, and F, I'm going to give you guys some time. Try and solve it by yourself and we will figure it out. All right. So let me write down question D. Let me write down question D. M to the power of 4, N to the power of 9 over M N cube. All right, guys. So let me maybe solve this one for you. So in this one, guys, what we have, so we would have M raised to the power of 4 minus 1, right, guys? Because these two are dividing each other. And then N raised to the power of 9 minus 3, right? N raised to the power of 9 minus 3. Therefore, the answer we would have here is M to the power of 3 and N to the power of 6. All right, guys. Now let's go to question E. Let us go to question E. So we got 6, A to the power of 6 and B to the power of 4. Ooh, there comes the rain. It's raining heavily here, guys. In Bangkok, Thailand, raining very, very heavily. And then in the denominator, we have 3a square and b cube. All right, 3a square and b cube. So here what we can do is straight away, guys. Hey there, Gladys from Kenya, grade 5. Hello there. This might be a little bit above grade 5, but maybe you can still watch it. All right, so here what we will be doing is we'll be dividing 6 over 3. So 6 divided by 3 is going to give us 2, right, guys? And then we are going to have a to the power of 6 minus 2 using the second law, and b to the power of 4 minus 3 using the second law, right, guys? Therefore, my final answer will be 2a to the power of 4 and b to the power of 1. Now this b to the power of 1, guys, you can just leave it as b, or you can also write it as b to the power of 1. But usually, guys, they will just write it like this: 2a to the power of 4 and b, right? If you raise it to the power of 1, usually they will not write it down. Okay, guys? All right, now let us go to question F. Let's go to question F. All right, let's go to question F. So we got 12 x to the power of 5, y to the power of 7 over 4 x to the power of 2, y to the power of 5. All right. Now I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes. Try and solve it by yourself first. Again, guys, first try and divide the numbers. First divide the numbers. And for the variables, use the same law we have been using. All right, guys. And if you get the answer, please type it down. Okay, if you get the answer, please type it down. Oh, it's raining very, very heavily, guys, here in Thailand. Very heavily. Again, guys, if you got the answer, please type it down. Let's see, I think you might have got it correct, Fiat. So what do we have here? We have 3 x to the power of 5 minus 2, y to the power of 7 minus 5. So the answer would leave us with 3x to the power of 3 and y to the power of 2. Yes, that is correct, Fiat. Good job. Very, very good, Fiat. Now go ahead to question G and H. Let's see. Go ahead to question G and H. Let me change the color, guys. All right. All right, let me solve question G right here. Okay, let me solve question G right here. All right, question G, I'm going to solve it right here. Okay, guys. So what do we have here? We have 4 over 8. So we got 4 u cube v to the power of 6 over 8u square v to the power of 3. All right. Let me give you a maybe a 30-second head start, and let's see, guys. So in this one, of course, 4 and 8 can simplify, right? So we would have 1 over 2. So we have 1 in the numerator, 2 in the denominator. And for the u, guys, we would have u 3 to the power of 3 minus 2 and v to the power of 6 minus 3, right, guys? So the final answer would be u to the power of 1, which you can just write it as u, and then v to the power of 3 over 2, guys. Or you can write it like what you wrote down here, that's also same. But usually in algebra, we would avoid writing decimals, okay? Usually we always write it as fractions. But anyway, that is the correct answer. That is the correct answer. Now let us go to the next question, guys. Let us go to the next question. All right, in this one, let us complete this one. What's the answer, that one for Fiat? Is it for the question H? Let's see. X. That is correct. That is correct, Fiat. You did do it correct for question H. Now let's go to the next set of questions, guys. So in question D, let me solve one question for you, okay? So this one, guys, we have 4m squared n to the power of 3, and all of this raised to the power of 2, right, guys? So all of this raised to the power of 2. So this is same like 4 raised to the power of 2, m squared raised to the power of 2, and then n cubed raised to the power of 2, right, guys? Finally, the final answer, 4 squared is 16. M squared raised to the power of 2 is going to give us m to the power of 4. And then n cubed raised to the power of 2 is going to give us n raised to the power of 6. All right, guys? And that would be our final answer, right? It's pretty easy. Now let's go to question E. Let's go to question E. So we got 5p squared to the power of 2 multiplied with 2p cubed to the power of 3. All right, guys? So let me give you maybe 1 minute head start. Try and solve it by yourself. All right, try and solve it by yourself, and we shall take it from there. All right, guys, so this one, what we have, so let me do it in super steps. So we would have 5 to the power of 2, and we got p squared to the power of 2, right? P squared to the power of 2 multiplied with 2 to the power of 3 and p cubed to the power of 3, right? So first we are going to break the brackets and the exponent. So 5 squared is going to give us 25. P squared to the power of 2 is going to give us p to the power of 4, right, guys? Multiplied with 2 to the power of 3 is going to give us 8. And p cubed raised to the power of 3 is going to give us p to the power of 9. Right, guys? Now, finally, what we have is 25 times 8, right? So 25 times 8 is going to give us 200. And now we have p to the power of 4 plus 9, right, guys? Because p to the power of 4 multiplied by p to the power of 9 is same like p to the power of 4 plus 9, which is equal to 200 p to the power of 13. 200 p to the power of 13. Very good, Fiat. You are on fire today. You are on fire. Good job. Let's go to question F now. Let us go to question F. So what we have here, guys, we have 4m square n square multiplied with 2m n cube raised to the power of 3. Right, guys? So let us try solving it. So first one, we have 4m square n square will be the same, right? and now multiplied with, now all of this guys inside we are going to raise it to the power of 3. So we have 2 to the power of 3, m to the power of 3, and n cubed to the power of 3, right? N cubed to the power of 3. Now let's see what we have here. We have 4m square n square from the first term, right? Multiplied with 2 to the power of 3 is 8. And here's where many students make mistakes, guys. 2 to the power of 3 is 2 times 2 times 2, right? So 2 to the power of 3 will give us 8. And then m to the power of 3. And in this one, guys, n to the power of 9, right? N to the power of 9, because 3 times 3 is 9. Now finally, once you have come to this solution, guys, we are almost at the final step now, right? 4 times 8 is going to give us 32, right? 32. And then let us multiply the variable. So we have m to the power of 2 plus 3, and then n to the power of 2 plus 9, right, guys? So final answer would be 32 m to the power of 5 and n to the power of 11, right? So that would be our final answer. Perfect timing, Fiat. You know that the live stream, it's like about 10 to 15 seconds slower. So when you type it down, I can see it in about 15 seconds. And when I wrote the answer down, I exactly see the answer. Good job, Fiat. Very, very good. Ooh, now let us go to the next question. Question G, right? Question G. This might be a bit hard. So let's see, guys. So we have 6x squared y to the power of 4, and all of this raised to the power of 2, multiplied with 2xy to the power of 3, divided by 12x to the power of 6 and y to the power of 8. All right, guys. So this may take you guys some time. Try and solve it. Do it slowly, okay? Do it slowly. I'll give you guys maybe 2 minutes, and then we will take it from there, okay? All right, guys. If you have the answer, please type it down. If you have got the answer, type it down. All right, guys, if you got the answer, type it down. So first, what we are going to do is, let me change the color of the pen. All right, let me choose this color. This seems like a nice, prominent and dark color, all right? All right, so first, what we are going to do, guys, we are going to break this exponent. So we would have 6 to the power of 2, right? 6 to the power of 2, and then x, and then x squared to the power of 2, and then y to the power of 4 to the power of 2, right, guys? Multiplied with 2 to the power of 3, x to the power of 3, and then y to the power of 3, right, guys? And in the denominator, we can just copy it down, because we are doing nothing there, right? We are doing nothing there. Okay. Now the next step, what we're going to do is, let us break the exponent, right? So 36 to the power of 2 is going to give us 36, right? X squared raised to the power of 2 is going to give us x to the power of 4. And y to the power of 4 to the power of 2 is going to give us y to the power of 8. Right, guys? Y to the power of 8 multiplied with 2 to the power of 3 is 8, and then 8x cubed y cubed, all of this over 12x to the power of 6 and y to the power of 8, right? All of this over 8. Now here guys, what we can do is an easy method could be by simplifying, right? So we see that we can easily simplify 12 and 36, right? So 12 will change to 1, 36 will change to 3, right guys? Now let's go ahead and solve the numerator first. So now we have 3 times 8 is going to give us 24. 24x to the power of 4 plus 3 and y to the power of 8 plus 3, all of this over x to the power of 6 and y to the power of 8, right guys? Now, of course, you might be thinking, why can't we simplify this y to the power of 8 and this y to the power of 8? If you did it that method, that is totally fine. You can do that. The final answer will still be the same, guys, all right? So if you went ahead and simplified these two, y to the power of 8, the answer would still be the same, all right, guys? Now we are almost at the final step. So what we have here, we have 24 x to the power of 7, y to the power of 11 over x to the power of 6, y to the power of 8, right guys? We are almost at the final step. Now I'm going to wait for a minute and see if you guys got it correct. If you got the answer, guys, type it down. So I'll see if you got it correctly. If you got the answer, please type it down. All right, so the final answer, what we would have here is 24 x to the power of 7 minus 6 and y to the power of 11 minus 8, right? So the final answer is 24x y to the power of 3, right guys? So this would be our final answer. This would be your final answer. If you got the answer same, guys, let me know if you got it same or if you did not get it same. So for question A, guys, so what do we have for question A? So what did you do? I multiply before divide it, not the same. What do you mean? What did you multiply first? You mean you multiplied the numerator? If you did that, whichever method you do, the final answer should be the same. Either if you multiplied it or divided it first, the final answer still should be the same, unless you did any careless mistakes, okay? Maybe you type it down what you did and maybe I'll look into it. Maybe type it down. Maybe explain more thoroughly on what you multiplied. All right, guys, now let's go to exercise 12.3, okay? Exercise 12.3. Now, once I see the comment, feed, I'll go back and I'll try to help you out, okay? So in this one, guys, what do we have here? We have a to the power of -3 times a to the power of 5 over a to the power of 2 raised to the power of 0, right? So step number 1, of course, we are going to break the exponent. So we would have 8 raised to the power of -3 times 8 to the power of 5 over 8 to the power of 2 times 0 is going to give us 0, right? Now, also, this is what we call the law of 0 in indices. Any number raised to the power of 0 is going to give us 1. So this number, what you see here, is same like over 1, right, guys? Now, finally, we have a to the power of -3 plus 5 over 1, which is equal to negative 3 plus 5 is going to give us 2, right? So the final answer is a to the power of 2, right? A to the power of 2. Now let us go to question B. Question B, guys. So we have r cubed to the power of negative 2 over p to the power of negative 2 to the power of 3, all right? So what do we have here, guys? So we have, what do we have here? We have r to the power of 3 multiplied with negative 2 over p to the power of negative 2 times 3, right? Negative 2 times 3. So what we have, or what we would have here is, we would have r to the power of negative 6 over p to the power of negative 6 also, okay? So you multiplied. So I'm just seeing your comments now. I multiplied 6x to the power of 4, y to the power of 8 with 8. Oh, here you go. You wrote it as 6, right? But it really should be 36 right here. Here you see here. So 6 to the power of 2 should be 36, right? But you just wrote it as 6. I think that's where you might have made the mistake. Now, if you wrote it as 36, the final answer would be the same. All right, Fiat, let me know if you understood it now. All right, now coming back to this question. So guys, what we have here is, in this one, we have r raised to the power of negative 6 over p raised to the power of negative 6. This is same like r over p raised, all of them raised to the power of negative 6. All right, guys. Now here, what we can use the indices negative law. So negative indices law. So what it states, guys, it states that a to the power of negative 1 is equal to 1 over a to the power of 1, right? Or in other words, if we have a over b to the power of negative 2, this is same like b over a to the power of 2, right? Same like b over a to the power of 2. So in this one, guys, the final answer, we'll try to write it with a positive exponent. So we would have p over r to the power of 6. And that would be our final answer, right? So we try to avoid writing our final answer with negative exponents, all right? All right, guys, now if you're here, let me know you're here by typing your name down. We've been learning for 1 hour now. Type your name down, guys. I'll quickly go and take a toilet break, and I'll be back in just 2 to 3 minutes, okay? In 2 to 3 minutes, I will be back. All right, I'm back. And I'm just seeing your comment here that you got the same answer. Very good. See, that's the beauty of maths, right? So irrespective of whatever method you use, the final answer will still be the same. All right. Let's talk for a minute, guys. Let's take maybe a couple of minutes break. If you're here, please type down your name. Let me know you're still here. I see that Fiat is still here. And I'm going to drink some Pepsi now. All right, now let us get to it. Okay, let's get to it. Now for question C. Cow 9. Okay, are you following up, Cow 9? Are you able to follow up? Are you understanding? If I'm not mistaken, I think you're in grade 5, right? Not sure. You're in grade 5. Oh, this must be quite difficult for you. Maybe let me know if you find it difficult or it's easy for you. Maybe you're too smart and it's easy for you. So is it yes for easy or yes for hard? Oh, you're in grade 6. All right, all right. Grade 6, maybe you should understand it. Yeah, maybe. All right, guys, let us go to question C. All right, let's go to question C. We just have a few more questions for today. Okay, let's go to question C now. So what do we have here? So first, what we're going to do is we are going to simplify inside the bracket, right? So we have t cubed divided by t to the power of minus 5 raised to the power of 2. It's kind of hard, I understand. That's all right. Is there any part of this that you do understand, Cow9? If you do, let me know. All right. All right, guys. So here what we're going to do is we are going to solve inside the bracket first. So we would have t to the power of 3 minus with minus 5, and here is where many students make mistakes. Okay, they forget this minus and they just write it as a single minus, and this is where they make mistake. And all of this raised to the power of 2. All right, guys, and please don't make this mistake if you are having an exam or something. Okay, so inside the bracket we would have 3 raised to the power of 3 plus 5 and all of this to the power of 2, which is equal to t to the power of 8 to the power of 2, right? Now using the third law, we have t to the power of 8 times 2, which is equal to t to the power of 16. So we would have t to the power of 16. All right, guys. Oh, hot tea. Too hot, maybe. All right, guys, now we are almost coming to the end of the tunnel. All right, we are almost coming to the end of the tunnel. Let me move this a bit down. Let me move this a bit down. So this is what we'll be learning in the next class. Okay, we'll be learning about equations. All right. All right, guys, question A. Question A, we have 2 more questions left for the day. And if you want me to do any specific topic next week, let me know. All right, let me know. And I will definitely look into it. All right. All right, in this one, guys, again, we are going to solve inside the bracket first. So we would have, let me write the question down, times p to the power of minus 5 raised to the power of 2. This over p to the power of 3. So this is the question, right? So first we are going to solve inside the bracket. So we would have p to the power of 2 plus minus 5 and all of this raised to the power of 2, right? Raised to the power of 2 over p cubed, right, guys? Now 2 minus 5 is going to give us negative 3. So we have p to the power of negative 3 to the power of 2 over p cube, right? Over p cube. Now let me continue it here. Let me continue this right here. So we would have p raised to the power of negative 6 over p to the power of 3, right guys? Now if we take a look at it here, we can use law number 2, right? But many students get confused and they make this mistake here. So here what we have p raised to the power of negative 6, negative 3, right? P raised to the power of negative 6, negative 3, which is equal to p raised to the power of negative 9, right? And now we can use the loss of indices, the negative loss of indices, which states that a to the power of negative 1 is 1 over a to the power of 1, right guys? Now we are going to use this and solve this. So p to the power of minus 9 is equal to 1 over p to the power of 9. And that would be our final answer, right? This would be our final answer. Now let's go ahead to the last question of the day, guys. Last question of the day. Question B, all right? Question B. Again, we will be solving inside the bracket first. So we have h to the power of negative 2 multiplied with h to the power of negative 5 to the power of negative 1 over h to the power of 0. And if you remember guys, I told you that anything raised to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So this denominator here is as good as 1, right? Now let's go ahead and solve inside the bracket. So we have h to the power of negative 2 plus negative 5 and all of this raised to the power of negative 1 and over 1, right? Anything raised to the power of 0 is 1. Now I see new viewers coming in. Now if you just joined in guys, please type your name down and your grade. Please type your name down and your grade, okay? Now what we would have here is negative 2 and negative 5 is going to give us negative 7. So we have h raised to the power of negative 7 and to the power of negative 1, right? To the power of negative 1. Now in this one guys, just because it is raised to the power of a negative number, don't get panicked, okay? Don't get panicked. So we have h raised to the power of negative 7 times negative 1. And I see fear. I think you got the right answer. Very good. Which is equal to h raised to the power of 7. Again guys, here's where many students make mistakes. Negative times negative will give a positive answer, right? Negative times negative will give a positive answer, all right? Therefore, the answer will be h raised to the power of 7, all right? Now, that is all will be for today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it and you learned something from it. Now, in the next week, maybe I might do a few more. Maybe I might even do one live tomorrow, okay? Depends on how free I am. But next week, I'll do it for sure. And next week, guys, we'll be looking into equations, okay? We'll be looking into solving linear equations in one variable, okay, guys? So until next time, guys, have a nice day.